Hey there, scholars. Welcome to another lesson in well-ordered language with me, Mr. Brace. Today we're going to be looking at Lesson C from Chapter 1, Level 2A. So first, let's start off with a little bit of review of all the things we've learned so far. So we have the 8 parts of speech, are classes of words with the same kind of meaning and use. There are nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, pronouns, conjunctions, interjections. A sentence is a group of words expressing a complete thought. There are 4 kinds of them. Declarative sentence makes a statement. Interrogative sentence asks a question. Imperative sentence gives a command. Exclamatory sentence expresses strong feeling. We have principal elements. Those are parts of the sentence that are needed for the sentence to be completed. We have the subject and predicate, which are those parts. A noun is a part of speech. It names a person, place, thing, quality, or an idea. A noun can be singular or plural. And we have 23 helping verbs. We have am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been, have, has, had, do, did, does, may, might, must, should, would, could, shall, will, and can. Now, along the lines of nouns being singular and plural, and looking at 2 of our helping verbs, have and has, let's do a little activity before we start analyzing and diagramming. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and identify the missing action verb, has and have, in the following sentences. Choosing the verb has and have, has or have, to complete the action of a subject depends on whether the noun is singular or plural. If it's singular, it's has. If it's plural, it's have. So, I'm going to read the sentence. I'm going to give you a second, and I want you to try and figure out, should it be has or have? And then I'll give you the response, and you can check if you're correct. The boys a hobby. The boys has a hobby. The boys have a hobby. Which one? Yeah, the boys have a hobby. Let's go do the next one. Otis blank a new model set. Otis has a new model set. Otis have a new model set. Which one makes sense? Yeah, Otis has a new model set. We notice these first 2, boys was plural, so it's have. Otis is singular, so it's has. Let's look at the next 2. The children blank time after school. The children has time after school, or the children have time after school? Think about it. Is our noun, our subject, is it singular or plural? Yeah, children is plural. So it's gonna be have. The children have time after school. Max blank the old model airplane from Grandpa. Max has the old airplane model from Grandpa. The Max have the old airplane model from Grandpa. Yeah, Max has the old airplane model from Grandpa. I did notice airplane is spelled incorrectly. My computer auto-corrected it. I will change that for next time. Okay, let's look and analyze and diagram some sentences. Let's look at this sentence. Branches are swaying. So if I look at this, first, I read it aloud. Branches are swaying. This is a sentence because it is a group of words that expresses a complete thought. It's a declarative sentence because it makes a statement. This sentence is about branches. I'm going to underline the subject. And then, so branches is the subject because it's what the sentence is about. I'm going to put a capital S above my subject. This sentence tells us that branches are swaying. I'm going to double underline that. So are swaying is the predicate because it's what the sentence tells us about branches. I'm going to place a P above that. It is a predicate verb because it shows action. So I'm going to put a V. It shows action. There is no linking verb because predicate verbs do not need linking verbs. Are is a helping verb because it helps the verb. I'm going to put a lowercase h, V above that. These are the principal elements because they are what is needed for the sentence to be complete. Now the new step that we have this year is diagramming a sentence. So we analyzed it, so now let's diagram it. First, I'm going to draw my baseline. Next, I'm going to write my subject on the left side of my baseline. It's the beginning of a sentence, so I'm going to capitalize it. Branches. Now I'm going to draw a vertical line that crosses the baseline. And then I'm going to write the predicate, helping verb and action verb on the baseline to the right of this vertical line. And if you need to, extend your baseline a little bit. So that's diagramming the sentence. Branches are swaying. Let's look at one more. Loki prowls. I know this is a sentence because it expresses a complete thought. It's a declarative sentence because it makes a statement. This sentence is about Loki. So I'm going to underline Loki, and Loki is the subject. Prowls is my predicate because it tells me what is happening to the subject in the sentence. So this is a predicate, and it's an action word, so it's going to be my predicate verb. Predicate verbs don't need linking verbs, and there are no helping verbs in this sentence. So these are the principal elements that are needed to complete the sentence to be completed. Now let's diagram this sentence. First, I'm going to draw my baseline, and then I'm going to write my subject to the left. Now I'm going to put a vertical line and then write my predicate, prowls. All right, I diagrammed that sentence. All right. Your task today is to complete workbook pages 20 and 21. Let's go take a look at those. So I'm going to analyze the following sentences, then diagram them in the space provided. Use a ruler to draw the lines. That's going to help out a lot when we get later down the road when we're diagramming larger sentences. So the first one, branches are swaying. We analyzed and diagrammed that one already. So if you need to, rewind the video and watch that over again. B, Loki prowls. We did that one as well. If you need to, rewind and then watch how to do it. And then you must analyze and diagram mice will scamper. And then Chip is barking. And Eden screams. For question 2, it asks us, on the sentence provided, list the subject from the sentences you analyzed on page 20. So if you diagrammed each sentence, remember the subject goes on the left side of your baseline, or the left side of that vertical line. So it'll be pretty obvious what the subject is. If you also are supposed to label those when analyzing, so they're the words with the big S above it. So those will just go on these lines. Question 3, fill in a predicate verb for each of the following sentences. Make sure to choose an appropriate word for the subject. So, for example, bulldozers destroy. For question A, saws, and it's talking about the tool, the hand, like a hand saw thing, something that cuts. But make sure it's appropriate. Saws jump, that doesn't make sense. Make sure it's an appropriate predicate verb. And in question number 4, imagine that you're receiving a brand new set of tools as a gift, and then write the following kinds of sentences about it. Write a declarative sentence about tools. So in your declarative sentence, your subject should be tools. And B asks, write an interrogative sentence about a chisel. So your subject should be chisel, and it needs to be an interrogative sentence, which means the punctuation should be a question mark. All right, that's all for well-ordered language today. I'll see you next time.